magic mirror on the wall? Who's the fairest one of all?
Kim Kardashian!
Hi, how are ya? I'm Fossil Daddy, and with that out of the way, if you've been here from the very beginning, you know that my very first video on this channel is literally a recommendation list of Snow White adaptations that you should watch over the Disney remake. And if you're new here, well, spoiler alert, I'm gay, and I did not take my own advice. I went to go see this movie all by myself at Showcase Cinema in North Attleboro, Massachusetts, and I was literally the only one in the theater. And for good reason. I couldn't help myself. I've got Disney princess blood running through my veins. I skip and frolic through the woods. I talk to my animal friends. I had to go see it. It was literally just me and Gal Gadot's dead-eyed eyebrow lifts for nearly 2 hours. And it was, unfortunately, very mid, but not for the reasons that you might be thinking. This is just kind of the running theme with Disney remakes. Every time they announce one, I get outraged, I look at the bad CGI, and I swear I'm not gonna go see it, and then I go see it anyway. Therefore, Disney gets a shit ton of money because of people like me, and I'm sorry about that. But this is the last time, I swear to God this time. Not that I believe in God, but you know what I mean. And honestly, a lot of the early hate that this movie got, while some of it was warranted, I do think a lot of it was done in bad faith, especially toward Rachel Zegler. Say what you will about the script or even the direction, spoiler, I will. But Rachel Zegler, she sucked ass in this thing, and in the best way possible. Like, reminder, I'm gay, that's a good thing, especially if you're a bottom, which I am not. But, you know, that's besides the point. Like, she did a great job sucking ass. And what I mean to say by that is that she did the absolute best that she could with the shit she was given. I mean, granted, was it the smartest thing to kind of hate on the original movie during, you know, press releases and marketing for the film? Absolutely not. Was it necessarily smart of her to say that someday her prince will definitely not come? Probably not, but, like, you know, it takes me forever to. I know that's not the meaning of the song, I cannot help myself. You can't name a song like that 90 years down the road, think people aren't gonna make fun of it, okay? But I honestly don't necessarily care about all of that controversy, like, especially now, considering that there is someone in this movie that is actually kind of, deserving of the hate that they're getting. At least to some degree anyway, but I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. There's honestly no denying that Rachel Zegler has a beautiful singing voice that would actually put some of the Disney princesses to shame. I mean, she was a Broadway actress, so you would expect her to have that kind of talent. And you really can't argue with the fact that she is a very talented woman, regardless of how you feel about her for being woke, which honestly I think is a good thing. Especially in 2025, shit is getting scary. And if Disney ever did go back to, like, traditional animation again, like, I think she would make a perfect Disney princess. But even a talented singing actress who littered this entire campaign with controversy is not enough to save this film. So let's kind of get into the meat and potatoes as to why this film really sucked. Now let's talk about Gal Gadot, who is actually a real-life Disney villain, as well as the casting director too. We need to stop casting Gal Gadot in movies. I mean, her performance is so wooden that I think she would have been a perfect cast for Pinocchio in the Pinocchio remake.
Yo, this is Charles the editor. I just wanted to cut in and point out that there's a version of Snow White called Snow White and the Magic Mirror. It's a direct-to-video knockoff, amongst others, where Dan Castellaneta, who you might know as the voice of Homer Simpson, plays this genie-coded magic mirror who's a wisecracker that makes a lot of anachronistic references. You know, just like the genie when he played him in both Return of Jafar and the TV show. So I just thought that's kind of a funny coincidence. Anyway, enough rambling, back to the show.
She's got, like, 2 songs in this movie, but, like, 2. Why? Why does she have 2 songs? She cannot sing. I assume someone lost a bet or owed her a favor from their time on the IDF. I have no idea, but, like, she has no business singing. And I would love to put a clip in here for it, but, like, I don't want to be copyright struck, but trust me when I say this, she cannot sing for shit. I can already see some of the comments flooding in telling me to try to do better, and you know what, bitch? I have 2 speech impediments, okay? It took years of therapy for me to get over them slightly, and I still struggle. I've got a little bit of a lisp, and I stutter, so I'm not out here trying to sing my heart out like an evil queen, because frankly, I already am a queen. I don't need to sing. Gal Gadot, though, She really wants you to suffer. Maybe she is the evil queen. And if I'm being honest, I didn't even really know who Gal Gadot was before this, because I never saw Wonder Woman, and I never really saw any of her other projects, so I didn't really know what a big name she was. That was until recently when I was made aware of a big protest at the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Because apparently she got herself a star, and I don't know how that works. I think you have to pay for it for yourself, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But of course, when people are protesting an individual, I have to understand why. And apparently, the root of the issue is that Gal Gadot is from Israel. Now, that's not really the issue, because I don't have an issue with Israeli people, but she does publicly support Israel, therefore supporting the on Gaza, which I do have a problem with, and frankly, I do think that she deserves all of the backlash that she got. The issue isn't that Gal Gadot is Israeli, and I think it's really important to separate our criticisms of national governments from the civilians who live under them. You know, unless they collectively elected a wannabe dictator to power, then, you know, that's besides the point. However, Gal Gadot has publicly voiced her support for the state of Israel, which in the current context means that she is openly endorsing the ongoing of Palestinians in Gaza. That absolutely warrants criticism and backlash. I know it's a really complicated situation. Anti-Palestinian prejudice is deeply ingrained in Israeli society, and I'm saying that as someone who has been there on 2 different occasions. And I understand that living in a region surrounded by nations that have historically questioned your country's right to exist cannot be easy. Israel itself was established as a response to the Holocaust and the slaughter of millions of Jewish people. This historical trauma can't and should not be erased. And I think that makes this whole thing even more infuriating, because you would think as a people who have collectively gone through it, you would be much more empathetic to other people going through it too. But I digress. And we also can't ignore the fact that Israel's creation led to the displacement of between 750,000 and 1 million Palestinians. That too is part of the story, and should not be erased. So even if you believe in Israel's right to exist as a state, there is no moral justification for supporting the atrocities currently unfolding in Gaza. Full stop. Enough is enough is enough. When will the killing end? I really had to get that off my chest, and it is probably my biggest problem with this movie, but we're gonna go over some other issues I have with it too. Such as, the CGI dwarves. Like, why the fuck do they look like this? Why? Can somebody answer me this goddamn question? Why do they fucking look like this? I mean, I guess Dopey's design is, like, kinda cute, but, like, in that weird big-eared twink kinda way.
No. I said no. You can kill all that right now. Like, at this moment, stop.
The rest of them, though, they just look like, I don't know, like, rubbery, like, fake, I don't know, bootleg CGI copies that just, like, crawled out of Shrek's asshole. I have no idea what they look like, but it's so uncanny. You know it's bad when the Polar Express looks a lot more lifelike than these guys do. And I think what's really weird is that there is actually, like, one little person who actually is, like, a character in the film, too. He was supposed to be one of the original, like, magical creatures before, you know, all the backlash, and then they decided to CGI the dwarves in. I guess we got Peter Dinklage to thank for this, which really sucks, because I know a number of little people that would have loved to play the 7 dwarves, and it probably would have looked a lot better than whatever the fuck this is. And, you know, it really sucks, too, because I used to adore Peter Dinklage until this happened. I might have had, like, a teeny tiny crush on him, too. Like, no pun intended, either. Like, I didn't mean it that way. Oh god, that came off awful. I'm keeping it in, though.
How about no?
And I think one thing that nobody really, focuses on is, like, how much this probably overworked the animators to do, too, because, like, they completely had to overhaul everything and just, like, fit them in there. That could not have been easy. And yet, here I am talking shit about the, about the end result. Animators, I adore you. It's not your fault that it looks shitty. You were rushed. It's not your fault. You deserve a lot more time and a lot more money. That's all I'm saying. I mean, this movie is already taking so many liberties with the plot and the tone and the visual language, then why not just cast real actors? Like, I don't understand. I mean, if you're gonna let Rachel Zegler put on a Snow White dress from the Disney store and be Snow White, why not let dwarves be real people too? I don't understand the problem there. But you know, this movie has some other issues too, and we're gonna get into that right after we have a word from our sponsor. Did you know that I refuse to buy anything brand new? Whether it's clothing, collectibles, Pokemon cards, or even video games, I almost always go for secondhand deals. I mean, I am an environmentalist first and foremost, and that's why I got rid of my merch line, because I refuse to have anything to do with fast fashion. Also, when it comes to YouTube sponsors, I've made it a point only to accept ones that I actually use or completely believe in. And Macari is one of them, and I can attest to that because I've been a member of theirs since 2019. It's been my absolute go-to for years, especially when I want to grab something at a discount. One particular hack I've discovered is that I don't buy anything brand new, especially video games. Like, I don't even pre-order them anymore. I wait a couple weeks, and then I find them on Macari for like half the cost. Even some of them coming with their pre-ordered merch. So I get the full experience without having to have paid $70 for fucking Tears of the Kingdom. I have my problems with that game. But that's not what we're going to talk about. You might not know this, but I've been running a used gaming shop and Pokemon card shop on Macari for over a year after 5 years of just strictly buying on the platform. And with very little effort, it's made me about $11,000 in the last few months, basically the same income as the second job. I'll usually buy video games or even Pokemon cards in huge lots, and then I'll just sell the ones that I already have or don't want, and it's made me a huge profit. And that's not even something I was even originally trying to capitalize on, it just kinda happened. And unlike other selling and buying platforms, there is a lot more seller protection, unlike eBay. I've had terrible selling experiences on eBay. And here's the really fun part. I actually trade a lot of my fossil finds for rare used games. For those of you who might be new here, I am actually a paleontologist, and I find fossils all the time. So if you have any old video games lying around that you don't need, especially if they're for the Nintendo Switch or anything rare from the retro systems, or even some vintage Pokemon cards that you don't know what to do with, I'll trade you either a fossil dinosaur footprint or a Megalodon tooth for them. Email me at fossildaddy2@gmail.com and I would love to work something out with you. If you're curious about my Macari store, I'm gonna drop the link below, but here's something really, really, really cool. If you've never used Macari before, you can get $10 off your first purchase no matter who you buy from or what you buy. But only if you use my referral code down below. Also, if you're interested in selling on the platform, they have an additional deal if you use my referral link, that you're going to get an extra $20 after you sell your first $100 worth of merchandise. So if you're looking to declutter, flip items for extra cash, or even save money on secondhand finds, like this horse pellet figurine collection that I totally didn't build using Macari. Okay, yes I did.
I know you fucking lying, bitch!
Check out Macari and grab the extra savings while you're at it. And now back to our video. Look, there's absolutely no denying that this version of Snow White is absolutely mid. But if you're determined to watch a mid-tier Snow White adaptation, do yourself a favor and pick a more tolerable one. Like, I know a lot of people have been kind of comparing this to Disney's recent other flop, Wish, but I'm not going to do that. That has been played to hell, and frankly, I didn't care enough to go watch Wish, so like, why would I talk about it? Like, if you just want a visually interesting, offbeat version with some bizarre creative swings, go watch Mirror Mirror. It's live action too. Yeah, the 2012 one with Lily Collins and Julia Roberts. That one. Is it particularly good? Not really, but it is like a fun kind of mid. It's campy, the costumes are incredible, even though I kind of disagree with the choice of the setting being in the 18th century. But you know what, that's neither here nor there. I mean, the music is weirdly catchy too. That isn't to say that the 2025 Disney remake doesn't have some good new tunes, and honestly, like, Rachel Zegler kills it in the new ones, but like, girl, like, we don't need it. And Mirror Mirror at least tries to have like its own distinct identity instead of being whatever corporate gray sludge this Disney remake remake was cooked in. It's not deep, but it is a vibe, and if we're gonna be stuck watching mid, I'll take self-aware and trying mid over soulless and assembly-lined mid any day. Or better yet, do yourself a favor and go watch Red Shoes and the Seven Dwarves. I kind of hinted to it in my last video about the Powerpuff Girls. Now that's a movie that deserved a lot better. It's a Korean CGI film inspired by Snow White, and while it's far from perfect, it had something going on. It had beautiful animation, surprisingly emotional character arcs, and a message that, while totally botched by its American marketing, was actually incredibly body positive and honestly, like, really sweet to its core. Like, honestly, go watch it. When the trailer dropped in the US, it looked like it was gonna be like some fatphobic trash. Like, it literally asked, what if Snow White wasn't beautiful? And cue the internet to be rightfully outraged, as it was. But honestly, the movie didn't stand a chance after that, and honestly, it had a lot of the magic that Disney and J.K. Rowling are both missing these days. Oh, I forgot to talk about the plot for the Disney remake. Oh god. I mean, like, Snow White is just vibing in the woods while the queen is out here being a fascist. I mean, no shade, because, like, I'm doing the same thing in the woods while Donald Trump is being a fascist too, so, like, I get it. Sometimes you just get a vibe in the woods and forget that Elon Musk and Donald Trump exist. Oh yeah, what were we talking about again? Oh, you know what, honestly, this movie just became so much more relatable.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I mean, I remember being told that the kingdom was suffering, but everyone's just like out here dancing in flower fields like a Depression-era Gap commercial, I don't know. And the dwarves barely affect the story too. Like, I don't even really remember what their key plot line was other than housing Snow White. Like, they didn't really have anything to do after the fact. But honestly, like, I kind of chalked that up to them having to literally be animated in last minute before they released the movie due to all of the backlash. It's honestly insane how much it affected the final cut of the movie. I didn't think it would be that noticeable, but it really is. That being said, the queen's death was actually kind of cool. It was, like, super gnarly. I'll give credit where credit is due. Points for creativity with the villain death. I want to see more of that. Maybe in real life too. I don't know. Like, I would like to see. I would like to see a number of people overthrown in a similar fashion.
I am you, my queen!
Not me looking over my shoulder, hoping that the FBI isn't, like, watching me right now. Or the Russian Federation, for that matter, too. Oh my god, like, why am I nervous now? Honestly, I left the theater wondering if I'd even remember any of this by tomorrow, and honestly, obviously I did, because I'm talking about it right now. And that was a couple days ago. But a year from now, I'm probably not going to remember it. It didn't really stick with me, and I don't think it will. And honestly, sue me, I don't think that Snow White was the worst Disney remake either. I think that title should go to Peter Pan and Wendy. But it is, like, aggressively forgettable, kind of like a cover band trying to play a Disney classic at a kid's birthday party. And these movies don't even make me angry anymore, they just kind of, like, exist in the background now. And frankly, I don't think that they're worth even all the backlash, because the more backlash they get, the more people are gonna go see them out of morbid curiosity, which in turn is going to give Disney even more of your money. And frankly, the decisions that they've been making as a corporation, they don't deserve your money either. So whatever, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you disagree with me? Do you hate all of my takes? Well, if you do, congratulations, you gave me money by watching all the way through. Oh yeah, and become a Ko-Fi member if you can.
Just do as I tell you, Twink. Okay.
That'll help me make more videos just like this for you to hate. Let me know how much you hate me in the comments. Bye!